Just want to say a few words about who we are. This is the National American Indian and Alaska Native Prevention Technology Transfer Center. My name is Kate Trams, and we also have Cindy Sago, our project manager, and Dara Jefferson, who is a PhD student in our program in community and behavioral health at the University of Iowa, who also works on this project. And so we're so glad to have them both here. And today we have Cheryl Longknife Morales, who is presenting on returning to our medicinal roots. And this is going to be part one of plants and food as medicine. We are this series is brought to you by the National American Indian and Alaska Native Prevention Technology Transfer Center, as I mentioned. And we also are a part of a network which includes 10 regional centers and a network coordinating office, as well as the National Hispanic and Latino PTTC. You can obtain CEU certificates from NADAC. We are certified through NADAC so if you would like to earn CEUs for attending this webinar, you can just reply to the email that will go out in the next couple of days. We usually send an email within a couple of days of the webinar that will include a link to the recording and handouts. So watch for that, and then you can just reply to that if you'd like CEUs. We do have a short survey that we would love to have you fill out at the end of our session today. So we'll put a link to that in the chat, and we'll also include that in our email that we send out in a couple of days. We would really appreciate you taking a few moments just letting us know if this is a valuable topic, if it's something you are interested in, and how well we did in putting it together and presenting it to you. And just a couple quick things for Zoom. You can open up the chat box by clicking on that button at the bottom of your screen. It should open up the chat on the right side, and you can join the conversation by typing in questions and comments there. And then we also should have a little bit of time at the end of our session to ask questions, and you can unmute yourself at that point if you'd like to ask a question that way. And then I would like to introduce our speaker for today. We are so excited to have with us Cheryl Longknife Morales, and she is a teacher preparation project director at the Ani Nakota College. And Cheryl, I just want to thank you so much for being here with us today. And I would love to have you give us a little bit more information about who you are and the work that you do, and then you can take it from there. Thank you so much.
Okay, good morning. As she said, my name is Cheryl Morales. I work here at Ani Nakota College in Fort Belknap, Montana. We're located north central Montana, close, like 27 miles to Canada. I reside in Harlem. I'm married. I have 5 children, 5 grandchildren. My given name is Wahokpi Wakanwea, Holy Nest Woman. Let me see. I've been interested in traditional plants for the last 10 years. I listened to a presenter at an NSF conference in DC, and it just blew my mind, all the information she knew about medicinal plants. So I've kind of been self-teaching myself how to learn, how to pick, how to grow, harvest. And right now, if you look at the screen, this is the garden that we have growing at the college now. To the left of it, you can't see it, but that's the greenhouse. Started out with four raised beds, 4 plants, and then today this is what we have. We have all of these raised beds. We even have a hops vineyard, and then at the bottom of it you'll see the medicine wheel. And I've been working here at the college since 95. I started here with my associates, and started working here as a bookstore manager. Then I continued on. And good thing about tribal colleges is if you're an employee, they want to continue your education. So I was able to go through Rocky Mountain College, get my bachelor's, and then I continued on to MSU Bozeman, and I received my master's degree there. So now I'm working here, and I, like she said, I'm the teacher preparation director. I have 9 students who are going after their teaching degree, and I'm also an adjunct instructor for traditional plants. So we can go on to the next screen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cheryl. And yeah, we're really excited to hear your presentation today, and so grateful for the work that you've done to study and learn about this. And thank you for sharing it with us.
Oh, just another quick tidbit. My husband is Puerto Rican. I met him in the military. I joined the military in 1980. I was in there for 6 years in the Army, and then a dependent wife for another 8 years. So all of our kids were born in the military. Okay, so this is our greenhouse, and the purpose of a greenhouse is to start our growing season. So we get an extra 90 to 120 days. My class starts in the springtime, and we start in January, and in February, we're in the greenhouse. We're planting seeds that'll go out into the medicine garden and into the vegetable garden. My husband, he manages a demonstration garden at the college, and this is him. You'll see him right down there. Students get really excited. They plant their plants, and then they follow it with data that they have to collect: the light, the water, how much it grows. So it kind of becomes their plant, and if they want, at the end of the semester, they can take some of these plants home and have their own medicine garden. But a lot of it is for identification. When we have tours in September, a lot of people who come and see the plants and listen, they look at them and be amazed at how many say, oh, this is in my backyard. Oh, I seen this when I walked down here. I just thought it was another weed. I said, well, it depends on who you talk to. Environmentalists, they're gonna call it a weed. A herbalist is gonna call it a medicine plant. But a lot of our people are now starting to identify these plants that they see all over. So we started here, and it's great. We're very lucky to have this greenhouse. We used to have a small one, and now we have this big one. Okay, like I said, dreams come true. These are Manny's interns. That's my husband, Manny. He had these interns, and they started the raised beds in the very beginning. And they have now continued on, and we started with 2 raised box beds and 4 plants. This is Minerva Allen. She's one of our esteemed elders. She knows a lot about plants. When she was a young girl, her grandmother would take her out, and they'd go look for the medicines, they'd go harvest the medicines, and they would process them. So she grew up as a little girl knowing all of these. And so I bring her into my classroom, and as you can see, she's got all her medicines out. She talks to them, tells them what they're used for, how to prepare them, and she's just tons of fun. She gets really, she tells stories, and she's just really crazy, just a really crazy lady. She's funny, but we all love her, and we'll really think a lot highly of her. She's Dakota from Fort Belknap, from the southern end of Fort Belknap. And long ago, we had hunters and gatherers, and they would go collect their plants, because when they went to war parties, they needed that medicine. So they knew where to go, they knew how to process them, and they knew they only took what they needed. They didn't take more. They only took what they needed that would last them for the next year. And this is what I tell my students all the time. Yeah, they harvest and they gather, and it's, I think within the last 15 to 20 years, we have had people returning to medicinal plants, natural plants, neuropathic way of healing themselves versus pharmaceutical, Western medicine. So this is wild bergamot, one of the plants that grows around here. On the bottom, you'll see the lilac colors. That plant is abundant in the mountains. I went and collected some this summer. Beautiful flowers, just beautiful. But you'll see on the top, the red one, that's the Monarda digma. That grows back east. It has a history with it. When the Boston Tea Party came and they didn't want that tea and all that history came with that, they use this tea and it has many names. Bee balm, let's see, bee balm, Indian nettles, scarlet bergamot, and then finally Oswego, because there's a town there that plant grew around. So they use that, and that tea tastes really good, has a lot of medicinal properties, but that grows back east. And then the lilac one, the Monarda fistiosa, grows western part of the United States. And we have a lot of this. You'll see up here where the properties are, the vitamins, and then the values, the stimulant, carminative. Just a question. Kate, I have this meeting is being recorded. How do I take that off? Or does that stay there?
So we are recording this so that we can share this later. Is that okay with you?
Oh yeah, but is that little box gonna stay in the screen?
You can click continue and then that should go away.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so this plant, it's good for your digestive system, fevers, colic, flatulence. It has a really aromatic smell, just smells really good. Some of our people, when they went out on the plains to keep the insects away from it, they would use this plant. And they would dry it and then they would keep it around the meat. They didn't have freezers back then, so they would use this so that the insects and the bugs stayed away from the meat and kept it fresh. It has, helps if you drink the tea. It's also good for colds, flus, the upper respiratory system. A lot of gastric stomach disorders. This plant is going to help you. Also, it helps with, besides the gastric disorders, stomach aches, it's also going to expel the worms that's in your stomach. As a diuretic, it's a cleanser for any urinary disorders. It's also going to help with inducing sweats. And I use this plant, besides drinking it as a tea for gastric disorders, I use this plant, I infuse it in olive oil and I'll let it sit for about a month, and then I'll take the flour out of it, and then I'll keep the oil. And then when I have my class in the spring, we'll make some cream. And what I use this for, I use this cream for mosquitoes. We have a lot of mosquitoes here. And so I take this cream, I could either use it in a spray, bottle spray, or I'll turn it into a cream and just rub it on. And a lot of people here use off. I don't like using off, has a lot of chemicals in it. This is natural, it's not gonna hurt you. It's actually gonna help with your skin. It'll help put moisture, and then if you have any, it's astringent also. So it's gonna help with that. if you have any wounds or stuff on your body, but I mainly use it in the cream for mosquitoes. I have to apply it every couple of hours, but that's not a problem. I'm not putting a chemical on my body. I'm putting natural plant on, and I use it for deterring mosquitoes away, and it works really good. I have a lot of people that like it, and they come after it. They ask me for some, so I give that out a lot. And then you also see that it helps with, you make a poultice. Now, if someone needed a poultice right away, or during the time that I took it out of the oil, I would go ahead and give them that poultice so that they can use it for their toothache, their wounds, or cool and soothe insect bites and stings. You can use the leaves as a cooling, cool your sores, your wounds, your sunburns. And also when you're steaming it, it's also going to put that aroma in the air. And this plant really smells good, really smells good. You could put it in a bath if you have achy, sore, tired muscles, and use it as a foot soak for your feet. Let's see. For the women, use it as for the menstrual complaints, PMS, and then after, when you've given birth, and you're having problems with it, it'll help expel the afterbirth and then encourage menstrual flow. You can also use this plant, the leaves, to flavor jellies, jams, syrups, and then put it in the salad. If you're going to put the leaves in the salad, you want to get them when they're really young, because if you get them when they're more mature, it's a little bit stringy. And a lot of our people, our males, used to take this plant because it smells so good. They would rub it on themselves and use it as a perfume when they would go see their girlfriend. So. Echinacea. I love this plant. This plant, there's 8 species of this plant. Let's see, Purpurea, Pallida, Angustifolia, Lavigata, Paradoxa, Sanguina, Simulate, and Tennesseanus. The most popular ones are the Purpurea, Pallida, Angustifolia. Angustifolia grows the west side of the United States, and the Purpurea, the Pallida, the eastern, and the Purpurea are kind of in the middle. I grow Purpurea and Angustifolia. Stems, if you see down here, you can see the stem. That's the Angustifolia. It has 1 stem, and then the Purpurea, it has a finger of stems. And so I use the whole plant. The topical part of the plant, I mainly use for a cream, for a skin disorder cream. I use yarrow, and then we call it blackroot. I use blackroot, and then the main one is calendula. And I infuse, I go and harvest those, and I infuse it in olive oil, and I'll let it set for 30 days or so. And I just keep collecting it because I need a lot of that oil, because that people come after. It's good for rashes, any type of topical skin disorder, rashes, psoriasis, cuts, scrapes, swellings, any topical disorder you have. This cream is going to help with this mixture. But blackroot, if you want to get ready for the winter, you want to get your immune system built up, strengthened, start drinking echinacea. Collect it, put it in a tea, just start drinking it. Start drinking it for a month, but take a break, You want to let your body get used to it, and then go back to it. And what it's going to do, all the values of it, the antiviral, antifungal, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, it's going to help fight all those viruses that we get in the wintertime. You know, the colds, the flus, the little sicknesses that the kids bring home from school. This is going to help. It's going to help build up your immune system. So if you want to get ready for the winter, this is the best plant to take. And it's also, so the decoction, you can also take the decoction, and the decoction is the root, the hard part of the plant. You want to boil that, get it to a rolling boil, and then let it simmer for about 15 minutes. And then it's ready to drink. So you can use it as a wash. Use it as a wash on your boils and your abscesses. Otherwise, you can drink it and it'll help heal your body. Like I tell my students, a lot of our plants, they not only target that ailment that's inside, besides that they're going to take care of, they heal everything around it that it had damaged. So two purposes of a plant: it heals the ailment and then the whole body. Wonderful thing about plants is their medicine healing. Also, echinacea, it's going to cleanse the blood, the kidneys, the lymph system, and liver, and it's going to help protect your healthy cells against decay, bacteria, any viruses, like all those viruses out there, the fungus and the microbes. It's going to help heal all of that. Okay, so we have your inflammation. It's anti-inflammatory. If you have inflammation, you know, when we get colds, our nose is runny, we're coughing, we're congested, this is going to help take care of, heal all of that's in your body, in your system. And again, it's going to strengthen the immune system to fight those viruses. Another thing, you know, we all like to go out into the sun and suntan, or we're at some type of event, powwows, rodeos, and we're soaking in all that sun. Well, you can take this, you can take the tea and use it as a face wash. What it's going to do, it's going to be a skin toner. And you can use it all over your body, your face, wherever you have the sun, and it's just going to make that healthy. It's going to bring it back to life, rejuvenate your skin from too much sun. It's polyphenols in there, protect the skin from oxidative damage, and that's caused by solar radiation. And also, when you go out and harvest this, you can buy it in the stores. There's a lot of botanical stores that will sell a lot of these plants. But if you go out and harvest your own, you want to make sure you leave some of the stem. That way it comes back the next year. And so here's the picture of the Purpurea. As you can see, it's got little fingers of the roots. So when you look at them, you say, well, this root is different from that. Yeah, a majority of the other flowers will have the fingered roots, but the Angustifolia has the one stem. And like I said, there's 8 species, and that's because botanical growers take 2 plants and they crossbreed them to make a new hybrid. So some are yellow, and then there's several various colors from lilac to a dark fuchsia color. You can make a poultice for snake bites, stings, insect stings, and also it has that cooling sensation in there. And then a lot of our sun dancers will use the root to chew on it to moisten their throat because they can't drink anything. So I'm going to try and go through this as quick as possible since we don't have that much time left. Is that okay? Okay. Yellow dock, curly dock. I like this plant. I drink this plant a lot. This is high in iron. I'm anemic, and so what I'll do is I'll go and collect the root, not the topical leaves, but the root. And the root, as you can see, looks like a huge carrot. And collect it, dry it, and then I ground it up, cut it all up, and I'll make about a gallon. And for the next 3 days, I will drink that, and it's going to cleanse and take out all that toxin that's in my body. You know that if our liver isn't healthy, it causes us to be lethargic, we're not thinking straight, we're just tired, we get migraines. An unhealthy liver causes a lot of ailments in our body. So yellow dock, curly dock is going to strengthen and help your body and your liver, and it's going to detoxify it. It's a liver tonic, and it's going to just bring all that health back, just rejuvenate your system. Another thing, I used to take iron, and you know, it causes constipation. Yellow dock's not going to do that. Yellow dock is also a laxative. It's also going to help with cleansing your body and your digestive intestinal system. So you won't have to worry about getting constipated. And you can also use it as a poultice. Just take the root, ground it up, make it into a powder. You can use it as a poultice. And then the young leaves, you can crush them up. If anyone has ever been around stinging nettles, it'll cause an irritation on your body. I've told my interns that all the time, don't get next to it, because I grow it down in the garden. It causes an irritation, and it'll last for about 5 hours, because I tested it just to see how long it'll last. To get rid of it, you can put mud on it, but you can also make a poultice out of the leaves and put it on there, and it's going to help take that stinging sensation away. Also, it's going to help improve your bile and digestive juices, flow better. It's going to break down that fatty foods. And then the young shoots on the curly dock, the yellow dock, when it's real green, you can cut that and use it and cook it. Just cook it like another vegetable, any way, recipes that you have. I like to saute it with squash. It's really helpful. It's really good. Catnip. Catnip is an anti-stress herb. You know, we went into COVID, and I know a lot of people, it just brought their anxiety up. This is one of those plants that can help calm, soothe your body, your anxiety, stress, nervousness. This is going to help. This is just going to calm you down. It has the values of soothing. It's a sedative, antispasmodic. So it's going to help calm down all that stress that you have, the anxiety. Also, if you're trying to quit alcohol and drugs, you can take this plant, drink the tea, and it's going to help you get through those withdrawals. It's going to ease your stress, and the internal tension that comes from the withdrawals. And if you haven't taken pharmaceutical drugs for a long period of time, catnip tea will help soothe your immune system. And let's see, for women, it's going to help with easing your cramps, your tension that come with menstrual cycles. You could take a bath in it, and it's going to help the premenstrual tension and help bring on the flow that's slow to start. So this is just kind of an overall body stress-free tea. I have some coworkers here who have a lot of cats, so I give them some catnip. Their cats love it. And if you want to use it to break a fever, you can make a tincture out of it. So if you're going to make a tincture, we don't have 100% alcohol, so we use a 80%, which is going to give us a 40% alcohol. It's 80 proof, so it's going to give us a 40%. And I use vodka. And then if I have a jar, I'll fill the plant about that high, and then the rest I'll put with the alcohol, and I'll let that set for a few weeks. Then I'll take the plant out, and then that'll store in the cupboard for about 2 to 3 years. And then you can take it with honey. So because you may not just want to take a teaspoon straight. It's going to be pretty strong. Let's see. And again, if you have a restless night of sleeping, drink some catnip tea, and that'll help you sleep throughout the night. Let's see. Lemon balm. Lemon balm is a great plant for anxiety, stress, nervousness. You can mix it with some of the other plants that I have several plants on here that are going to target anxiety. You can mix it with those if you want a stronger dose, depending on your anxiety level. We have a lot of young people here who are bipolar and are looking for something natural as opposed to the pharmaceutical pills. So let's see. Lemon balm grows year round. Has a natural antihistamine to relieve tension, and it helps heal the respiratory system for asthma and allergies. The antiviral and antibacterial properties keep the allergic attacks away. So if you're having problems with that and you want to calm it down, drink some lemon balm. That'll be great. If you have, it's good for migraines. The plant is going to help relax those constricted muscles that cause migraines. So this is also going to help with the migraines. It's an antidepressant and anxiety from nervous disorders and nervous exhaustion. And it also helps cleanse out toxins in your urinary tract for kidneys, and it's going to rejuvenate your body again. Like I said, it's going to help ease anxiety and bring on calmness. Also, it's going to help with relieving spasms, indigestion, gas, and colic. Okay. So, lavender. I have some lavender that I grow down there, but I'm having a hard time. I want it to look like this. I do. I really do. I just think that's awesome. But mine hasn't. I get a few flowers and that's it. So I've got to do some more research on that. But this is another plant that's going to target anxiety. You can take this plant, you're gonna use a topical, you're gonna boil your water and then pour it into the tea bag. And then put the tea bag into the water. So you have your decoctions, which is the hard part of the plant that you boil together. And then your soft part of the plants, like the lavender, the flower tops, you boil your water and then you pour it into the tea bag, because you don't want to boil out the medicinal properties of it. So this isn't, again, it's all body. You can put it in a bath. You can put it under your pillow. You can boil it or put it on the stove and boil it, and that aroma is going to go into the air, and it's going to calm any anxiety, tension that's in the household. Let's see. If you have a migraine, you can take some of those flowers, besides drinking the tea, but you could take some and then just rub them on your temples, and it's gonna, the oils of it is gonna seep in and be absorbed in and help relax those constricted muscles. Good for depression, mood swings, dizziness, fainting. Let's see. The antioxidants in it is going to impact the endocrine system, lower your stress levels, your stress hormones. The anti-inflammatory is going to help with the inflammations and reduce it that's in your body. You can take a facial treatment, and the astringent antibacterial property of this plant, you do a facial, you steam it, and it's going to help with the acne and any facial acne problems that you have. It's going to help attack that. See. Also, it will help detoxify your body, help induce sweating to eliminate the toxins. The antiseptic properties in this is going to help fight against diseases like diphtheria, typhoid, streptococcus, and pneumonia. And its demulcent properties are going to help with symptoms from diarrhea and vomiting. It's going to help ease those symptoms. You're going to have inflammation, so this tea is going to help with that. Also with sore throats, toothaches, and laryngitis. And you can also use it as a scalp rinse for lice. If you have lice and you don't have the other stuff, you can use this. Hops. Hops is great for insomnia. My husband can't sleep through the night, so I give him hops tea. I make him a cup of tea, and he'll sleep throughout the night. But it's going to help with anxiety, stress. It's going to help with muscle tension, hysteria, restlessness. Let's see. Native Americans use this plant for insomnia to treat and pain. Delaware used heated hops for aching teeth and ears. Cherokee, Mohegan, and Fox drank this tea for sleeping. And in Europe, when they had this plant, they used it mainly for making beer. But then they also used it for rheumatic joints, fevers, aiding heart conditions, diarrhea, and hysteria. Its sedative properties is good just to calm the body down. It's going to help with your digestive system. Antibacterial properties is going to help increase the gastric juices and help to digest the food. As it aids in your indigestion, and when you have difficulty with urinating and a poor appetite, this is going to help the gastric juices flow. Now, for women, it's going to help with the PMS symptoms, relaxes, hot flashes, any menopausal symptoms. It's going to help relieve those. For men, it's gonna, the men probably don't wanna touch it with their hands, maybe use gloves, because it's gonna affect their libido. And that can last up to 3 days, 2 hours to 3 days. But we also have tea that will help improve the libido. So thank God for Mother Nature and all the plants that are available out there. Let's see. Peppermint, another tea again for insomnia, not insomnia, anxiety, restlessness, hysteria, but it's also a good tea for colds. I use this tea, I use this with peppermint. I decided to experiment one year, and so I used peppermint and hyssop. Peppermint is gonna open the nasal passages, the congestion. Hyssop is going to purge all that phlegm that's in your chest. So as soon as I feel a cold coming on, I drink this tea, peppermint and hyssop. I drink it for 3 days straight. And I haven't had a cold for 9 years. And my husband, as soon as he feels, I mean, it's great, right? They say there's nothing for colds, but peppermint, and then I'll add plantain, because plantain is going to dry up the phlegm that's in there. Marshmallow is going to soothe the mucous membranes. It's going to help them get healthy again. And let's see, there's another one. And then yarrow. Yarrow is a good plant for colds. So I'll use all of those, but if I don't have, or if I run out of marshmallow, plantain, and yarrow, I use peppermint and hyssop. Those are my go-to. If you have a cold, get some peppermint and hyssop, and you won't have to worry about colds again. And hyssop, like I said, it's good for taking all that phlegm. It's a respiratory system cleanser. So it's going to help take all that phlegm that causes the asthma, the bronchitis, your coughing, chronic coughs, allergic reactions. This is going to help calm that and just help heal all of that in your respiratory system. St. John's wort is good for PMS for women. It's going to also help restore the nervous system from long periods of exhaustion and stress. Drink it daily. It'll help lift depression, anxiety, irritability, and it's also going to help with insomnia. So you notice a lot of these plants, they overlap in illnesses, but that's okay, because I look at them and I think, okay, you know, I can mix this with this plant. I want a stronger dose. So I'm mixing plants together all the time to help target, say, a cold or insomnia, anxiety. I mix them up to try and get the best, strongest tea that I can help for that ailment. Okay, skullcap, another nerve tonic. Again, it's good for the nervous system, anxiety. It's also good for headaches, epilepsy, and it's a nervine property that it's going to help with your nervous system, and it's going to help you manage stress issues in your life. If you're giving up alcohol, nicotine, drugs, prescription drugs, this is also going to help with that internal stress, that internal tension, distress, and it's just going to ease your body as you go through withdrawals. So if you know someone who's on any one of these vices, have skullcap, skullcap, and one of these other plants. I forget which one it is. But you can mix them, and it'll help them get through it. So rosemary, it's going to help with anxiety, bouts of depression, and also it'll help with the tension headaches. If you've had, if you're recovering from an illness or surgery, this will help restore that immunity and health that the antioxidants are going to help prevent cell damage from free radicals. It's also going to help relax and tone your nerves. And also this rosemary tea is also going to help the flow of digestive juices, and it's going to help your body absorb all those nutrients a lot better. And if you can also use it as a skin toner, give you that glow. And rosemary is the same herb that we use in the culinary when we're cooking. So ginseng, again, stress, nerves, heart palpitations. I put a lot of these plants on there that target anxiety, depression, because we have a lot of people that go through that. A lot of people are suffering. So there's a lot of these plants that can help with that. It's a powerful antidote for stress, to help people calm their nerves, aids in heart palpitations, and just helps you resist stress a lot more. And it's also going to help fight off exhaustion and depression from your nervous disorders. At the same time, it's going to increase your energy and libido hormones in the endocrine system. It's going to help fight impotence and frigidity. Also will help with muscle tone, skin tone, and enhance your immunity. There's so many things that these plants can do. It's just amazing. If you know which ones they are, if you know what you're going to target, these plants are amazing. Okay, here's plantain. Again, this is the one I use in my cold remedy. It's gonna dry up the phlegm that's in your body, but this is also good for if you have scratches, cuts, burns. I have some grown in my front yard. I have a lot of it. So I go out there and I pick it, I wash it. My granddaughter had a wasp sting. So I went and grabbed some, washed it, and I chewed on it because your saliva is going to activate the ingredient in it. And I put it on her wasp sting. I put some aloe vera lotion over it, and I wrapped it. And by that evening, it was gone. You couldn't even tell she had a bee sting. If you have cuts or scrapes, put it on there, and it's going to help. It's going to help with rashes. I knew a lady had a rash like this big around on her back. So I gave her some plantain. I told her how to use it. And by a week and a half, it was down to the size of a quarter. She was amazed. She was amazed at it. So this has a lot of good healing properties in it. Feverfew, good for migraines. I like this. I suffer from migraines, and so I like drinking this. I keep it on hand. I even mix it in butter. I'll dry it up, and then I'll take it, crush it, and then I'll mix it in butter, and so I'll have a feverfew butter. A lot of doctors are using this as the first line medication for migraines. That's how strong it is. That's how great the values and properties in it are. It also is going to attack allergies, asthma, arthritis, hay fever, and help with the digestive tract. It's going to help relieve pain and inflammation of arthritis. Yeah. And any PMS symptoms you may have. Let's marshmallow. So marshmallow is the other plant that I would use in my cold remedy because it's going to help soothe the mucous membranes. It's going to help it be healthy. And as they're inflamed, it's going to bring it back to health. But also if you are having scar tissue that's decaying, it's going to help soften it. It's going to help soften it and bring it back to a healthy scar, per se. It's good for, its oxygenator properties help with fighting cellular aging and decay. This is referred to as a mortification root, beneficial in preventing tissue decay. Let's see. Nutritional values like iron help blood, calcium for bones, keratin for hair, silica for tissue repair, and asparagine strengthens the kidneys and fights cystitis, painful urination, and bladder irritations. If you are diabetic, you can drink this tea and it's going to help lower your blood sugar levels. Mullein grows around dry creek beds, mountains, mountain hillsides. I collect this out at our mountains here, and people are using it for COPD. If they have chronic coughs, my cousin has COPD. She uses it all the time. She uses it and it helps clear and open those passages so that she can breathe. You can also take this plant, crush it up, and smoke it. Roll it in rolling paper and then you can smoke it, and that'll help with the smoke is going to help your internal system. You can also just burn it and then inhale it. But it's any type of chest complaints you have, this plant is going to help. Bronchitis, tuberculosis, asthma, and it's going to help reduce mucus from forming and stimulate the expulsion of built up phlegm. So if you have that dry cough, get some mullein and drink it as a tea or smoke it or burn it. Either way, it's going to help. It's just going to purge all that excessive mucus from your chest. And again, you can use it for wounds, bruises, skin infections, topical. Infuse it with oil. I like to fuse it with oil, and then you can put it on your wounds and wrap it and just change it throughout the day until it starts healing and getting better. And then the flowers, you'll take the flowers and you'll infuse it in and I use olive oil. Olive oil is my go-to base. So you can take the flowers, infuse it in olive oil for about a month, take the flowers out, and then you can use that for earaches and infections. Just put a couple of drops in and it'll help with the ear infections.
Cheryl, I don't want to interrupt. It's totally fine with me if you have time to keep going for a little bit. But I know some people have another something they are going to now since we're at the top of the hour. But I'm totally fine if you want to continue for a little bit. We've had so much interest and so many great comments in the chat. So whatever you feel comfortable doing, we can continue. But I want to be respectful of your time as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and try to hit the high spots of these. Let's see. So this is mullein. Yeah. And also you can take the mullein root, ground it into powder, and then put it on warts. Just rub it on warts and just keep changing that and doing it every day, several times a day until the wart is gone. Hawthorn, a great heart herb. Hawthorn targets the heart. Any heart ailments that you have, it's going to help it. I've listed down here the different types of heart disease. So you want to drink this tea on a daily basis. You know, and all these teas that I mentioned, if you're targeting different things, you can change the teas throughout the day. You know, back when our ancestors, that's all they did was drink tea, and they were healthy. And so you can change up, or you can drink this for a while and then start another tea. But if you keep drinking the teas, you're going to have a healthy body. See the hawthorn? It helps reduce heart palpitations from the irregular heart rhythms. It's going to open the blood vessels, increase blood flow to relieve or reduce symptoms of atherosclerosis. The high vitamin C is going to improve the ability to fight infections with the white blood cells. Let's see, the berries, you're going to use the berries, the flowers, and the leaves. It's going to help with lowering your cholesterol. It's anti-inflammatory and powerful antioxidants that remove free radicals that cause damage in the body. So this is a good plant, and it's also going to help relieve eczema and psoriasis, helps relieve swelling, rashes, itching, and heals your wounds. So if you're looking for a plant to help your heart, if you have heart problems, this is your plant to go. This is your plant to use. So pharmaceutical versus nature's medicines. I'll take nature's medicines anytime. I very rarely go to the doctor unless I have something wrong that I can't take care of. If I can't take care of, then I go to the hospital and I talk to a doctor and I try to explain or find out what's going on. But you tell me what's happening, and if I can't fix it, then we'll see what you can do. Pharmaceuticals, they're addictive. They have side effects that harm your body. Do we want to take stuff that's going to harm our body? I don't. Like I said, the medicinal plant, it's going to target that ailment, but it's going to heal all the damage that it caused around it. So you're going to come out better than you ever thought. As with pharmaceuticals, you're going to get sicker. My mother-in-law, I saw her pills one day she was taking, and she had like 10 pills there, and I thought, what are these for? This one was for her stomach, her heart, her kidney, but these other ones were helping because they had side effects. So this was countering that side effect, and I thought, well, that just doesn't seem natural at all. So you want to be careful, because anytime you go and see a doctor, they're going to say, okay, we'll take this, but it's also going to come with a side effect. Like I said, I have mosquito spray, and mosquito lotion. I don't like the chemicals. There's a lot of pesticides in there, so I don't use those. And so if you see down here, I have calendula, and you can drink as a tea. Then I have, I make lip balm, which is really good. I had a young girl use it. She had canker sores, took it away. Cream, I have cream that had awesome healing properties for people. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. So you find something with all these different medicines, and there's so much more out there that, you know, a lot of these I have grow around here, plus I brought some in that I really like into this PowerPoint, but there's so many medicines out there. And you start looking and researching and finding what you like, they're there and they're going to help your body. And like I said, we have interns, and if it wasn't for them, we couldn't get our job done. These are the two interns that helped me with making the medicine wheel. I felt that my medicine garden should have a medicine wheel, and they wanted to work with me. They were excited, and I said, okay, I have a project. And so I designed it, and I said, we're going to build it. And these ladies were pregnant, but they stayed throughout the summer, and they helped me build it. And so if it wasn't for interns, one person couldn't do all of this by themselves. I mean, it could, it'd take a little bit longer, but thank God for interns. Here's some quotes I found. Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food, Hippocrates. And the fruit there shall be for meat and the leaf for medicine. Here's the full photo of the medicine garden. And then I added these on the end because a lot of the properties and values, you're like, okay, well, what does carminative mean? You know, what is antipyretic? So I added these on the back so they can look them up and see, you know, oh, okay, that's what that's for. That helps that. So they can understand more what those are in that plant. Here's some more. And then if you look at these, the minerals are listed on each of the plants, and it's going to tell you where it targets, because you're like, you know, you look at a plant, well, how is this going to help me? How do I know this is what this, okay, it says it has, say it has manganese, sulfur, magnesium, copper, how's that going to help? So here is a diagram of where all those minerals, you know, copper for lung function, magnesium, heart regulation. So this kind of gives them an idea of how these plants are going to help them, how it's going to help their body. Just something I thought would help them if they wanted to look at natural medicines versus pharmaceutical medicines. So, is there any questions?
Well, Cheryl, I've been keeping an eye on the chat, and there have been a lot of questions, and I think people are just really hungry for this information and knowledge, and you know, there's been lots of questions. Okay, like how do you use something as a tonic? How do you use something as a cream? And so my main reaction to all of these questions, and how do you plant them? Where do you get these plants to start with? Or, you know, can you start from seed? There's just tons of questions. And so I'm wondering if we need to add another session of this, and if Cheryl, if you might be willing to come back to address some more of these questions, we can pull some of that out of the chat, and maybe we can come up with another session that we can go over some more of this information, because yeah, people are really interested in, and I know people really want to have people are downloading the slides and wanting to make sure that they get a copy of those so they can, there's so much helpful information on all of the plants that you shared, that it will take a lot of study to understand and to become familiar with the things that you went over, you know, really quickly. And it's amazing to see your knowledge of of these things. And yes, I think it looks like people are really interested in doing another session. Let me see, I did pull out So somebody did ask, I thought this was an interesting question. How do we suggest using these plants or in these medications, and how do we teach this to our people? Do we need certification? Do we need to check with their primary doctor? Can we keep these things in our behavioral health offices to use with our people? So yeah, I'm curious what your perspective on this is, and how you do that in your community.
Okay, so I've had that come up in my classes, and like, okay, like the mullein. I think the mullein is great for your chest complaints. And like I said, my cousin has COPD, and on my research with this plant, I said, you know, this plant's going to help you. So I gave it to her. She uses it. She loves it. She's been using it now for about 2-3 years. I gave it to my grandmother, who talked to her doctor, and she couldn't use it because it was going to interfere with the medications that her doctor was giving her. Now, anytime I have a student ask how to use this, or they want to use this for their mother, their father, their grandfather, their grandmother, I tell them, talk to the doctor first. Let the doctor know that you plan on using this. And if you're taking another medication, is it going to interfere with what that medication is doing? And sometimes it will, like mullein. Mullein was one of them that did. So it would be your choice. Do you want to stop that medication and you want to take the natural? That would be up to you. I don't know how bad you could have, say, COPD, or like my grandmother, she's an older lady, she's like, no, you know, she's going to stay with what the doctor says. My cousin, she wanted it natural, and she drinks the tea. She loves it. So anytime I tell people, if you're going to use this, talk to your doctor first. If you're going to use this as a mainline healing, then talk to your doctor. If you're taking something already, talk to your doctor. Let them know what you're going to do, and they'll let you know. I also have a book with, I have a friend of mine's niece was in pharmaceutical school, and so she got all these plants that I was working with, and I gave her as many plants as I could, over 50 of them. So I have a book that's this thick, and it shows what medication will interfere, how it's going to react with one another. So some of it you can use it, and some of it you can't. So it really depends on your doctor. Talk to them if you're taking something. A lot of these are also topical. Like I said, there's the poultice. You take the plant, like the plantain. I chew it, I wash it, I chew it. My saliva is going to activate it, and as soon as I put it on something, I had a burn. Like I said, I used it on my granddaughter. She had a wasp. I had a grease burn. You know, we're cooking, we get burnt, and then it pusses up. It gets all that fluid. Well, I went and grabbed some, put it on there, kept it wrapped. It never pussed up. I didn't get that swelling or anything. Took it away, and you can feel it. You can feel the plantain working as soon as you put it on. Let's see, what else do I use? Like the cold medicines, I use those. Like I was experimenting. Like you saw, a lot of these medicines, they overlap one another. But if you look at them and they don't interfere, okay, I'm gonna mix these two. Or like the medicine, I mix 5 of them. Perfect. I love it. I get a cold and it just lasts forever, my cough. I started taking that, and I haven't had a cold. My husband hasn't had a cold in 9 years. We have allergies. I have a mixture of herbs that I put together, and I drink that, and it helps alleviate my allergy symptoms. Creams, decoctions, it's going to take some time to describe all of those, but if we had time, we could. If you want, we could, because there's decoctions, tinctures, creams, and teas, poultices, infusions. Yeah, there's just several different ways you can use those plants. Like I said, my go-to base is olive oil. Olive oil has a lot of healing properties in it. I've tried another base. I think I've tried shea oil. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it felt. But the creams I make, the lip balms I make, the tinctures, the sprays, poultice, people love them. People come back and ask me for more. I make them during my class, but I make a lot. I harvest and I process a lot of it so that I can keep making it year round. So this summer, and I'm lucky, I'm very lucky that a lot of my plants that I use are right in my garden. As you'll see, it's in the garden, right behind. I mean, I can walk down there and be down there in a couple of minutes. That's where my garden is, from the college. But if I, like the mullein, I don't grow it down there. So I go out to the mountains and I go and harvest that. And a lot of your flowers, your aerial top part of the plant, you want to harvest some of them early spring and into the summer. You want to make sure that it doesn't go to seed. Your root, you're going to want to harvest in the fall, because what happens is our plants are coming out of dormancy in the spring. So all of that medicinal property, all of that medicine is just going and growing and going up to the tops of the leaves and the flowers. And in the fall, they're getting ready for the winter. So now all that power is coming back down and it's going back into the root. So then you want to go collect the plant, I'd say starting September and into the middle of October. For us anyway, because that's when it gets cold and that's when our plants go to sleep. And then the medicine in it isn't good anymore. So yeah, there's just so much. And I've just learned this. I've taken time and researched and read a lot of books. I didn't take class. Well, actually I did. I took a class up in Browning from an elder who knew a lot about plants. And so he helped me. And I also go to Browning because Browning has a lot of medicine up there that we don't have down here. I can't get it here. I can only get it over there because there's a Devil's Club. It's a diabetic. It's a diabetic plant, and we have a lot of diabetics here. And I ran out, so I need to go and get some more.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to monopolize your time today. But I think we would love to chat with you more about maybe doing another session, and so we can talk about that. But obviously, there's a lot of interest, and yeah, so many questions, and so maybe we can pull out some of those things and look at something to focus on for another session. It sounds like that would be really desired and welcome. So yeah, I can't express our gratitude enough for both being so flexible with some of the issues we had. It looks like a couple of people also had the wrong time. So I apologize. We'll try to do a better job of making sure we have the time zones listed in as many places as possible so people know how to find the right time for our sessions. And yeah, I apologize for issues with that, but yeah, I'm so grateful for Professor Morales for sharing so much knowledge with us, and for all of you for joining us today. Yeah, Professor Morales, is there anything else you wanted to say before we finish up for the day?
Well, I thank you for the opportunity of sharing this knowledge. I know when we have our tours, it's a tradition that we were losing. We don't have it among our people anymore because we've been brainwashed into Western medicine. But a lot of our people want to, they're hungry for it. They want to know how to use it. And like I said, I grow it down here for identification, and it's amazing how much, oh, I have that, oh, I seen it, oh, that grows in my backyard. But you know, you also have to be careful when you collect your plants, where you collect them. You don't want to collect them on the side of the road. That's a lot of toxics. So it's going to take time. You have to go out. You have to go walking into the mountains, into the prairies where a safe place is. And that's what I tell my students. But I'm really happy people are going back to the medicines, because every time you turn the TV on, there's a lawsuit with this type of pharmaceutical drug. If you took this, get into a class lawsuit. And I thought, there's a lot of that. And so I don't go to the doctor. I rarely go to the doctor. I have my teas, my plants that will help take care of me. My husband is Puerto Rican, and he's like, give me your tea, you know, and he just drinks it. Because it takes care of him. It heals him, and he loves it. My children love it. More people are going back to medicines, and more people are using it. And I grow it, I harvest it, and if I can't get it here, I go to the herb store and I'll buy from them, or I'll trade. It depends. I'll barter with someone who has something. But yeah, I'm glad you're all interested. I'm really happy that you like this, and yeah, if we have another session, I can help. Yeah, I hope to have more stuff here to show, but the time change was a bit of a surprise. I thought I had another hour.
Yes, yes. Well, my apologies again for that. But that sounds wonderful. I hope we can set up another time. And again, I want to thank you so much for being a wonderful teacher and just giving us all inspiration. It's very exciting to see the ways that the earth is here to take care of us if we take care of it. And I'm so excited. And yes, I just want to thank all of you for joining us today, and thank you for your comments and questions. It's been really exciting to watch the interactions on the chat. And yes, if you aren't on our email list, please email me and we'll add you to that so you get the announcements for our upcoming sessions. So thank you again, and I want to thank Dara Jefferson for setting this up and for getting us connected with Professor Morales. So thank you so much. And I think that'll close us out for today. So hope you all have a wonderful day and get to enjoy some nature today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. How do I get out of here?